James Mansfield here, and you're watching Drag HerStory, the show where we salute the girls who laid the foundation by applying one. Today's lesson is all about drag mothers. Now, we all have a mother, but a sad fact of the LGBT community is that not all of us have the best relationship with our mothers, which is where drag mothers come in. A drag mother is a close bond formed between one seasoned performer with a younger upstart. In most cases, the older, more seasoned queen will take a younger upstart queen and help guide them down their path. Now bear in mind, not all drag children perform. Sometimes it's just a very closely fostered friendship between one drag queen and another individual. For instance, I would be considered a drag foster child. My drag mothers are Rudy D'Angelo and the amazing Ruby Claire. Now, I was never taught to perform in their style exactly, but I respect their careers immensely to take any bit of advice they had to give me down the road. In today's lesson, we're going to pay homage to the famous drag mothers of the past. These fierce mothers did more than just remind you to floss and wash behind your ears, which I still think you should do, just saying. We begin with Flawless Sabrina, a savvy businesswoman and the founder of the drag queen pageant system, the Nationals.
Let's open up the curtain and take a look at our beauties. Let's hear it for them. Remember, every one of these contestants before they came here is a winner. It's a hell of a responsibility having to pick out just one queen out of all of these brilliant contestants.
Her exploits were documented in the 1968 film, The Queen. The film was completely counterculture at the time, given that gay life was seldomly talked about in the mainstream media. One might even say it was ignored completely. Flawless Sabrina would go on to be hired by Hollywood as a consultant for films like Myra Breckenridge, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, and Midnight Cowboy. Flawless Sabrina has always been an avid collector and supporter of the arts. She's had an amazing life, from just being a drag queen to a political activist, a tarot card reader, and a filmmaker. Sabrina is a flawless mother and continues to foster the LGBT community. And speaking of the queen, our next mother is truly legendary. Crystal LaBeija. Crystal LaBeija was a pageant queen from the 1960s to the 1970s. Her name started as Crystal LaBeija, but she was so beautiful that the Latin queens renamed her LaBeija. And thus, a legendary house was born. Crystal LaBeija was a beautiful queen who did not suffer fools. She infamously called out the bullshit in the very climax of the film The Queen, where she steals the entire movie.
Taking the wrong way. Shit, she looked bad. And no way of what you think can do about it. Paula has nothing. She can't help it because you're beautiful and you're young. You deserve to have the best in life, but you didn't deserve. Missy, I don't say she's not beautiful, but she wasn't looking beautiful tonight. She doesn't equal me. Look at her makeup. It's terrible.
An often misunderstood figure, one has to factor in the hardships queens of color had to face back in the 1960s.
Crystal, where are you going? This is not the time to show temperament. Get back here and stay with the other finalists.
Crystal was known for painting herself lighter to make herself more passable in the white pageant system, despite in those days drag pageants being one of the few things integrated with the races to an extent.
Pepper will tell you, like, certain balls, I won't mention which one, but if you were of color, you weren't going to get in unless you knew someone or unless your color was very pale. You know, you just weren't going to get in.
Crystal LaBeija was someone that went
to balls.
To balls.
She competed against the, excuse the expression, the white drags.
Right.
Painted white and won over some white queen sometimes.
Okay.
Queens of color would eventually grow tired of the oppressive pageant system and went on to found their own competitions, thus inspiring Crystal LaBeija to go on and found the House of LaBeija and throw one of the very first balls, thus igniting the New York ball scene. Crystal eventually handed over the reins to her daughter, Pepper LaBeija, who was immortalized in the film Paris is Burning. The House of LaBeija is still active to this day and is still a breeding ground for legendary children. Next is international Chrysis, now a trans icon. Chrysis was a fabulous entertainer whose talents ranged from singing live, acting, exotic modeling, burlesque, and she was even a muse of Salvador Dali. She transitioned early in her life at the age of 12, and after meeting and moving in with fellow performer Kim Christie, Chrysis began her climb to utter fabulousness. One infamous moment was her being photographed by Life magazine with her gal pal, Kim Christie, as they sashayed around the Astor where Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton were staying at the time, later being written up in an article about juvenile delinquents. She was a member of the Hot Peaches Review, the Jewel Box Review, and even toured nationally in England and Berlin. International Chrysis was the first trans woman ever to appear on a magazine cover. Despite the headline's focal point being about her gender identity, it was groundbreaking at the time. She was an influential performer whose career spanned from the 1960s onward to the early 1990s. A gorgeous woman, International Chrysis left an indelible mark on the drag community and was taken away from us far too soon.
So I can be me.
I had a very difficult time narrowing down the queens I wanted to feature for this program. We have so many talented and beautiful mothers in the drag world that doing a show on all of them would be impossible. But here are a few honorable mentions of drag queen mothers who left a beauty mark on the world of drag.
Don't fuck with me, fellas!
Now, Daphne Dubar picked up and left, but we're back to get her.
Don't make fun of my people!
We close with Dorien Corey, who we all know and fell in love with from the film Paris is Burning. Dorien Corey was an ever-present figure in the New York ball scene. She was there when it started, watching it grow from a glamorous bugle beat extravaganza to butch queens and businesswoman realness.
I come from the old school of big costumes, feathers and beads, and they don't have that anymore. Now it's all about designers. And it's not about what you create, it's about what you can acquire.
She began her female impersonation career in Harlem in the 1960s with the group The Pearl Box Revue. The group was successful in the New York nightlife circuit, performing at the Copelands and the Cotton Club. They even had a cast album.
The gay liberation movement. What do you think of it?
I think it stinks.
Seriously?
For the simple reason that all movements like that, have you noticed that any movement you see, it's the same group? It's the gay liberation movement that's not inclusive of the whole homosexual body.
Of course.
It's the straight, the closet bunch who are gay liberating. And when they get it for themselves, they will still be looking at the drag queen saying, no, 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 not you.
By the time Paris is Burning was filmed, Dorien Corey was already an established legend. Corey had already won over 50 grand prizes in voguing balls.
Ladies with an attitude, fellas who are in the mood, don't just stand there, let's get to it. Strike a pose, there's nothing to it, bold.
And though her life had a rocky patch near the end, Dorien Corey was a fierce queen and a mother to many.
Now, how'd you like to find this waiting at home for you every night? Only been used once or twice, but it's still nice and tight. Wow! So if I can't sell it, I'm gonna keep sitting on it. I ain't about to give it away.
Well, that's our show today, kittens. I hope you learned something. And remember, Mother always knows best. Don't forget to take your vitamins. And would it kill you to call more often? Oh, and did you take out the garbage?
My mama didn't